The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions of WBGR Network. Any questions or concerns about what is said should be directed to the show host, whose information will be provided upon request.
My brothers keep a show, I gotta let them know. Tuesday, 7 p.m., gotta let them know. 3 M's, mention model, gotta multiply. God gets all the glory, hands in the... Multiply, God gets all the glory, hands in the...
Welcome to the My Brother's Keeper television show, where we ignite a spirit of excellence through mentoring, modeling, and multiplying. I'm Davon Green, and I'm thrilled to have you join us on this Tony the Tiger Terrific Tuesday. It's simply great. Before we dive into today's empowered content, here are a few quick housekeeping rules. If you'd like to join our conversation, our call-in number is 301-429-9247 or 301-429-WBGR. Don't forget to like and share this broadcast with your network, and for even more inspiring content, head over to our My Brother's Keeper YouTube channel, where you can like and subscribe to stay updated on all our latest episodes. Let's make today's show one to remember.
Okay. It is hashtag vote. Can you say hashtag vote with me? There is 182 days until we vote, America. In the upcoming November 5th, 2024 elections, a significant portion of Congress seats will be up for grabs, totaling 468 across both chambers. This includes the election for approximately 1/3 of the Senate, which is about 35 seats that will be available, and all 435 seats in the House of Representatives. It's crucial, very crucial, to consider the historical context. Thus far, only 12 African-American senators have served in the U.S. history of the Senate, emphasizing the ongoing need for diversity and representation in our electoral process. Can you say with me, hashtag vote? Also, for returning citizens and their families, active participation in this electoral process holds paramount importance. Information regarding voting rights and specific state regulations can be accessed at vote.org. Also, something to keep in the back of your mind as we are encouraging others to hashtag vote. Some states, such as Vermont, with a population that is 99.8% Caucasian, and Idaho, 81% Caucasian, permit individuals to vote even while serving time. Again, this underscores the varying laws across the country and the imperative of understanding one's specific voting rights and requirements. Can you say hashtag vote? Hashtag vote. Now time for our African American moment.
This African American moment is presented by Angels of Hope, a ministry dedicated to supporting the people, collaborating with the community, and cultivating resources. Khalik Barnes is a force of inspiration and leadership at just 16 years old, a junior at Thurgood Marshall Academy in Southeast DC. Khalik is not only a licensed minister at Prayer and Praise Ministry, but also a vibrant voice in his community. His journey of spreading God's word began at the tender age of 5, showcasing his deep-rooted passion for faith and service. Beyond his spiritual commitments, Khalik stands as a staunch advocate for the youth of Ward 8, actively engaging with council members and even the mayor to spearhead impactful change. His entrepreneurial spirit shines through the Barnes digital design, his own venture that specializes in graphic design, business management, and ministry service. With aspiration of college, Khalik's mission extends beyond personal success. He is dedicated to transforming the lives of young individuals who are eager for change, yet unsure of how to begin. He serves as a guiding light, aiming to lead and uplift those suffering from pain, guiding them toward a pathway of healing and spiritual discovery, with a heart set on nurturing a future that leads others to Christ. Khalik Barnes is truly a beacon of hope and a leader for the next generation. Also, if you would like to sponsor an African American moment, please contact us at mybrotherskeeper.tv@gmail.com or 240-432-5790.
And now here is the introduction of what the show is going to be about tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a special edition of My Brother's Keeper in partnership with Angels of Hope Ministries, where we unveil a transformative 5-week program, Peace, Parents Empowered to Advocate with Children for a Civil Environment. This groundbreaking initiative is a cross-generational grassroots effort aimed at engaging at-risk displaced youth, offering them guidance and wisdom through seasoned mentors. At the heart of Peace lies a mission to reshape the minds of our youth, combating the social and peer pressures that fuel destructive behaviors, from generational gang conflicts to the pervasive influence of social media or our communities grapple with an epidemic of violence that demands a collective response. So join us as we delve into the root causes of gun violence among our young people, explore the impact of these tragedies on our communities, and seek out effective strategies for prevention. Together, let's shine a light on the path towards peace and empowerment. Hashtag peace and hashtag youth empowerment. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Difficult times of the spread of the coronavirus, and you're not able to connect with your church congregation, WBGR Gospel Network has the perfect solution for you. We have the capability to live stream you remotely from any location of your choice. Your members and thousands around the world will be able to see and hear your message, donate to your ministry, and now know that your ministry exists. Let us connect you to the world. WBGR Network. Where you go, we follow. Contact us today, 301-429-9247. That's 301-429-WBGR.
Sports is what we do. It's the fast track at peak speed, moving across the ice, blockers, hitters, B-team, beatdowns, and knockouts, doubleheaders, playoffs, touchdowns, smackdowns, on the mat or on the track. The spirit of a champion. The triple-double. Make
Where would I see the people
double
that's
front
coming
flip. This is what we do.
Relax. Okay. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to My Brother's Keeper television show, the greatest show on this side of greatness. Let me introduce to you two of our young men who was a part of the 5-week transformative program, and allow me to introduce to the right of me, but I guess it would be to your left, Mr. Davon Green, and to the left of me, which would be the right of you, Mr. Jay Herman, who likes to be called Jay. But definitely it was an honor to be able to engage you gentlemen with this 5-week program. Definitely very powerful and transformative. and very much engaging in our community. And I thought it to be very timely because of many of the things that had been going on in the society or in the community. We've had few deaths while actively engaging in the program. So without further ado, I'm going to just go ahead and get into our conversation. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay. How does gun violence impact the community?
So in my community, gun violence has created a constant sense of fear. Also, anxiety in our community. It affects everyone, the elderly, the children, everyone across the board. It just disturbs the daily lives and limit activities that can be safely participated in, like far as trying to even do like life skills that are brought that come to the community, or like even breakout sessions where you do like peer mediation and stuff of that nature. So all of that is an affection.
Okay. A reflection. Did you want to jump in there, Jay?
I mean, he covered the bases, but yeah, I would say that it really does have a huge impact on everybody in the community. Like Davon said, it interrupts your day-to-day life. It interrupts your day-to-day activities. With having the gun violence around, I would say, a lot of people, they are fearful. They don't, get a chance to get things done, as far as wanting to leave their house because of the gun violence. So I would say it has a huge impact on the community.
Okay, that's good. What are some of what the main causes of gun violence among young people would be, do you think? Anyone, both of y'all could jump in there, just jump in there like, we turn to the road. But definitely I want you guys both to weigh in on it if you like.
I would say some of the main causes is a mix of poverty, lack of opportunities within the community, not having that easy access to
a lot of resources.
Right, resources and, things to make the community better.
Okay. Mr. Davon?
I would say peer pressure plays a big part in that.
The causes of that gun violence?
Yes.
Yeah.
So peer pressure is one. They just some of the youth don't feel as powerful and they don't feel like their voice is heard.
I think I was reading a report recently, something about the bullying. You have a lot of bullying going on.
You do.
And so a lot of young people feel a need to really protect themselves.
Yes.
So they seek other alternatives to, protect themselves, especially if there's no adults.
Right. No adult presence.
Okay, so you think just that's the one of the major ones, or that peer pressure? I guess what I'm trying to pull out is how about the music? The rap music that we listen to on the radio, or that young people listen to on the radio. That drill music, that that boom, and you're seeing a lifestyle that's being put before you to go and get it, and if you don't have the money to get that lifestyle,
how you get it?
Right.
Oh, you get it how you get it. Oh, okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to keep it where the goats can get it, okay? We're going to keep it where the goats can get it. We're going to get it how we can get it, okay? Yeah, I feel and real talk, I feel you knocking, because I wasn't always the age that you see before you now. We all have our experiences with a process of getting older and growing. But even to feel more powerful, a lot of young people want to feel that power. And I do know that a person have that pistol in their hand, they feel that power. You know what I'm saying? They feel a little bolder. They feel a little stronger, and they feel that strength. But it's a false sense of strength that they're walking around with, knowing someone step on their shoes, someone bump them, someone says something to them. They have a false sense of power that they can exert on someone. Right. What you think about that?
I mean, yeah.
That's true.
But here's the kicker. Ask me, what's the kicker?
What's the kicker?
I'm glad you asked. But once that person is arrested for gun violence, that gun is then taken away, and that person is incarcerated, they no longer have that gun.
Right.
So then they're left to do what? Fend for themselves. Okay. All right. Let's move on, because we're gonna get deep into it. How do you think gun violence affect individuals personally? How do you think it affects individuals personally?
A friend of mine was shot last year during a random shooting.
Mm-hmm.
It left the individual physically and mentally scarred. It's been devastating to see how the outcome played out, and how it changed that individual life and their daily activities for what like a day of class would look like.
Like even like today's time, I've never seen so many people in wheelchairs, young people in wheelchairs. I've never seen so many young men in wheelchairs rolling around, and it's very sad. It's very sad. Jay?
It's life changing. Being a victim of gun violence, it really does change your perspective and your outlook on everything. I was shot 5 times, and it changed me. It changed my outlook on where do you go? How do you see things? How do you perceive, people as you walk in that same place where you got shot, or where the violence occurred? I mean, it really does make you look at life different, and also it changes the way that you look at things and your perspective. So I would say it's a huge, huge impact and life-changing event.
Wow. And to say, sorry to hear that that incident has happened to you. It also, when people are the result of gun violence, now understand that there's a family also left behind. It affects the family that is left behind to carry on and to move forward without them, prepared to move on without them, or prepared to care after them, to be their caregivers. Because again, like I said, today I've never seen so many young men in wheelchairs. So now it just affects the whole life, because now someone has to take care of an individual,
right?
Oftentimes, of no result of their own. It definitely, as we were involving ourselves in that program, 5-week peace program, to hear the violence that came within the community was hard.
Yes.
The young girl, young lady that was 3 years old, killed. Then you had another young lady, not more than 15, killed. And so it's hard, and it almost at some point it's before you so long, and I mean it comes before you so much that it almost desensitizes you.
Yes.
And so that's one thing that I'm careful to not allow it to do, is to desensitize me, because that's someone's daughter, that's someone's child, sister, or brother, or someone, and they were loved. should have to worry about perishing in the streets to go to the store or go to the ice cream truck or to go for a walk. No one should be able, should have to fear for their lives in that capacity. It's very unfortunately because, again, our young people are dealing with almost like a form of PTSD.
Yes.
Post-traumatic stress disorder, because it's almost like you go out and you hear the loud noise and it's almost,
Right.
and you've seen a lot. Well, I used to see a lot of the men come home from the war and they had PTSD. Now, our young babies have PTSD in the streets of neighborhoods and communities, inner city. And that's just not cool. That's just not cool. And so this what leads me to this point is, what are some of the activities to reduce gun violence? What are some activities we can do to reduce gun violence?
I would say job training programs, also educational opportunities, community centers, that would provide, a safe space for kids and activities after school. Those are just some of, things I think that would help.
Yeah, some of the positive ways that you think we can engage in that community's piece.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, how about this? With the community involvement, creating like the job skill, job readiness training, and opening up the community center, how about getting our council members involved? And so therefore we now start talking about some legislation. So now we start talking about the political aspect of having the right funding come into our communities. So now it's not a point of if we're going to vote, it's about when we're going to vote, right. Because now our voting matters. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it starts right here, grassroots, and start organizing. And so now we get the ear of our politicians, so therefore, as he's going back to the council, then we're earmarking and allocating certain funding for our communities. But it all starts by coming together in unity.
Some good stuff.
That's some good stuff. Okay, well, I like to see that happening. I like to see that happening. But again, it starts with young men like you getting out there with the older. And so therefore, we're working hand in hand, arm in arm, to create that space, that atmosphere to allow our even younger people to feel safe. And so therefore, we start that movement. Not just a moment, but a movement, and we're able to create, a structure of even economic empowerment. So I don't want to take over because this was y'all. This was y'all. This was all y'all's. Okay. All right. Question: how safe is your neighborhood? Real talk. Real talk.
They're not really safe these days. You have to be very cautious, even with, MPD sitting on the corners or, security in the community. You still don't feel safe, or you still don't sometimes feel welcome, even at your own place of residence. And that's, can be, a stressful situation at times.
Okay. Jay?
Piggyback off what he said, no, it's not always safe. Where you live, you shouldn't have to always look over your shoulder or worry about, am I going to make it back home when I leave? Getting to that point, I would say it's unnecessary, uncalled for. Because not being able to walk up or down your street and feel safe, it's not somewhere that you would want to live. So safety Yeah, it is the number one priority. But like you said, it has to start somewhere. So where does it start? Yeah. And that's where we come into play, I guess.
Absolutely.
As you know, starting to make that change.
And being willing to be able. And when you start talking about the safety aspect of your community, whether it's daylight or night, you should be able to go outside. Right. You should be able to live a life carefree of being gunned down in the street. And that's one thing that it's troublesome, so troublesome to me. During our sessions, we were able to pull some numbers, correct?
Yes.
Let's look at some of those numbers.
So during our 5-week program, we had a chance to do some analysis. So every year, 117,345 people are shot. Amongst those, 42,654 people die from gunshots or gun violence. 16,651 are murdered. 76,725 people survive from gunshot injuries. 34,566 are intentionally shot by someone and survive. 24,569 people die from gun suicide. 3,554 people survive from an attempted gun suicide. And then 503 are killed unintentionally.
Wow. One life is too many. One life is absolutely too many. I think that we should get to work to do our part. Not worried about what someone else is doing or not doing. I think it's time that we get involved to start the movement to eradicate the gun violence. What changes you think should be made to gun laws?
For starters, stricter background checks. Simply, I don't know like what they look for or what they ask for when you go to purchase a firearm. But if a 15-year-old has a gun, apparently there's not a lot that they ask for or look for when purchasing a gun. Because if this 15-year-old has a gun, then that means anybody can get a gun.
Well, I do think, I don't mean to cut you off, but I do know that in Michigan, there was a family who went to court. They were being prosecuted because they gave the child a gun, and it was reported that the school continued to tell the parents that the child was making threats. And so the parents didn't do anything, didn't take the gun away or anything. So he went to school and he assaulted and killed people. So the parents have stood trial, and they've been prosecuted, and they have, I believe they were prosecuted and they were convicted. So again, when you start talking about the gun laws, stricter gun laws, I think that's right up that alley. Whether, because again, if the parent buy the gun, parents should be held liable for that. And we talk about the illegal guns. I mean, we know that that's a movement. You know what I'm saying? And then you have the ghost guns that now, that are coming out and people are moving with. So it's like, how do you really crack down on that? I'm asking a question. That's a question. How do you really crack down on illegal gun sales? Do we again create stricter gun laws? For people who are, caught selling guns that, like those ghost guns, because they're being mailed, piece by piece through, the mailing postal system. So what do you think should be done to those as well?
I feel like we can limit how many guns a person can own.
Very good. And does that speak to the legal aspect of it? Because, I mean, this goes beyond social, economic, racial barriers. So it's not so much that it's inner city, but this is suburban communities as well, because they may not have the drive-by, but they have the mass shootings. You know what I'm saying? So this is affecting everyone. So I just don't want to just pick out, a group of people and say, okay, this is, and they're wrong and they shouldn't. And no, this is everywhere.
Right.
It's happening. And Sandy Hook, the young man took the gun, AR-47 was it, and went and killed the children in the schools. It was a harsh thing, but it's like, but no one want to change the laws.
That's why we gotta get out and vote.
Get out
Very
and vote.
Important.
Get out and vote again. Say that again. Hashtag vote.
Vote.
This is the reality of it, because now you begin to see that it starts from the grassroots.
Right.
It starts from, organizing grassroots. When you moving grassroots, now we're creating a movement now. So now we got our hand on the pulse of our councilman, then DC delegate, or if in another state, then you start moving to delegates, and then your senators, your House of Representatives, you're moving differently now, because you're causing a change. And I was always told that the squeaky wheel is the one that gets the oil. You know what I'm saying? So therefore we got to make the noise, all the noise. And so therefore we're not selling out. We're taking this all the way to the top, because our young people are at stake. Our young people are at stake. Okay. What support from schools and organizations should be available? I know y'all gonna jump on this one. What do you think schools and other organizations should be able to do to assist? Because again, this is not just something we're going to be doing. This is something I believe that we're going to be able to do collectively. Talk to me.
I feel like schools could offer more counseling services and like more support groups to like the youth within the community or that ward itself.
So dealing with that trauma, that PTSD that I was...
The PTSD, that anxiety, the depression that they face, because those are, like you said, it is a life. And that life did matter to somebody.
Jay?
Just having more organizations more accessible to the students. I would say, because now I want to say maybe once or twice a week that you have organizations come into the school and talk to the kids, or maybe once or twice a month. I feel if they more than once or twice, maybe like every day for maybe an hour or so, I think it would have a big change on the students' outlook. So more accessible, more than like once or twice, I think it'll be a difference.
Okay. I mean, I think I agree. I think it should be more than they're coming in just for a day, and then we don't see them again till a month later.
Right.
I think this should be ongoing, because our young people have suffered great trauma, and it's been masked. It's been masked over. And then from what's being seen on television, what kind of music is being played, and so I think it just gets covered up, just like an onion. I mean, layer upon layer upon layer. But by the time that young person is about 40 even, they'll see that they have all of this hidden trauma that has literally been just impacted. It's been layered over, and it's a lot of pain. And so therefore you will see the lack of feeling, lack of emotion. So it's like lack of emotion, and it's like they're not afraid to die, but they're afraid to live. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's going on in many of our communities. So we got to really be in a place where we got to shake and again, and get with our leaders of our communities, ANC leaders, and then the council member, and shake it up. I mean, because again, our lives are at stake, because our young people's lives are at stake, and we got to start moving. We got to start moving this. What role should the parents and families play in this movement?
I would say parents, they should be more aware of what their kids doing, what activities they are involved in, who they are hanging around. I think they need to know all of that, because if they know what their kids were doing or who their kids were hanging around,
Okay.
I think that they wouldn't allow them to do those things or hang with those things, because they know what type of trouble that their kids are going to be in. So if the parents, family, if they're aware, I think that's where it starts. Like, you being aware, you doing something about it, you keeping them from doing those things, hanging with those people, is definitely a huge start.
Okay. Davon?
Family support and, open communication are key in preventing, in most involvement in crime within the community. I know as a child coming up, we always had somebody looking out the window. Or, those things when we stepped off the porch. Our parents back then always had somebody watching. It was like,
Absolutely.
you never know who be looking when you walk out the door.
You do something,
right?
You go home.
What? Who told you that?
So that's something you all came on the back end of,
right?
Because that's something that used to happen to us. Because a neighbor that knew mom, that knew my mom, and knew the other neighbor, and it's like, I'm gonna call your mother. By the time you got home, your mother knew what you did, who you did it with,
and they gave permission to discipline back then.
and I think that we got away from that.
Yeah.
And that took away that essence of community. And so when we take away the essence of community, we become lost. Because it's like almost people stop caring. Because it's like, man, if I'm going to have to deal with that, I'm going to let your kid get in trouble and let your kid do whatever it is your kid going to do.
Right.
And I don't think that was the answer. Brother Jay, if I may, can you walk me through when you were shot?
It was back in 2017. I just got back from the store. I was sitting in the passenger seat. My brother was driving, and we had two of our cousins in the back that we were dropping off. So we parked the car and we letting them out. As I look up from my phone, there's a gun pointed 10 feet away from me, directly in my face. All I can remember is one shot, seeing the fire come out, seeing the bullet travel to my face. Now, although I was shot 5 times, I only seen that one bullet. And I watched that bullet travel from the gun all the way until it hit my eye. When it hit my eye, that's when I realized it's real. I'm being shot. So at that point, I had to go into cover. After 33 shots, going into our car and the houses behind us, we then had the opportunity to escape. And this was in an enclosed alley.
Wow. How long was the recovery?
By the grace of God, all of the bullets went through me, meaning they did not touch me.
Yeah.
They hit every part of my coat that was on my body. So I had one that was supposed to have went through my head, but missed my head and went through my hood that was on my head. 2 in the chest, 1 in the stomach, and 1 in the eye. My brother was shot once.
And as you are sitting here with me now, it doesn't look like anything is wrong with you. It doesn't look like anything is wrong or had happened. So we just don't know.
And it was just a split second, just like that. We literally put the car in park, and everything just evolved.
Were they able to get the people?
We don't know.
You don't know. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I'm God thankful that you're here and able to tell the story. Did you want to say something? You glad he's here too?
I'm glad he's
here.
Okay,
he's glad you're here too.
I am too.
Praise God. We're definitely, because again, senseless. Right. And sometimes people just do it because they're being initiated into gangs or for whatever reason.
Right.
Because no one should be shooting a gun on a city street in that capacity anyway. And so God thankful that you made it through that process, and your brother as well. So it just goes to show you, ladies and gentlemen, we just don't know. Right. We just don't know. And here we are, by the grace of God, that you're here and able to tell the story of the gun violent assault upon you. So now let's get back to, I just felt compelled to just bring that out and allow you an opportunity to share that part of your story. Thank you for sharing and trusting me with that. So let's get back on track. Okay, let's get back on track. Let's get back on the train track. Okay, so the role of the parent, the parents and the families, right? Okay, what real roles, real talk? Because if the parents, God forbid, if they're not holding on to the guns and part of the problem, if they're not part of the solution, then they're part of the problem. So how do we, we're every day, we're in the hood. This is what's happening. Let's keep it real. We got parents that's involved. Parents are doing, and so therefore the kid's going to grow up with the mindset. So how can we curve a lot of that? I'm going to leave this one to Mr. Green over here.
What, to me?
Yeah, tag team, you in. Go ahead. Go ahead. Absolutely.
I mean, to piggyback, it's really a support system. I know when I used to have problems or stuff, I used to, be able to have that open dialogue with my parents, and it helped me, with some decisions that I make. At times I was kind of hard-headed, as a parent, they try to lead you and guide you on the right path, but it's like sometimes, when crawling, you do a little bumps, you get a little bumps and bruises along the way.
Well, I think nothing wrong with bumps and bruises.
Right.
Because again, that's all a part of growing up. Because again, I think your generation, right after your generation, you guys are just on the couch using your thumbs and playing games. You all don't get out there and play throwback football, and y'all don't get out there and be active and get those. We used to be on monkey bars, hanging upside down and falling and cracking shoulders and then just cracking back. We used to, go outside.
Take a crate and make a goal.
Yeah, we used to make go-kart. Yeah, man, get on the get on the slide and it's 100 degrees and you slide all right. Hey, with that sun, you get some serious tanning out there. But no, I think I think we should be able to go outside to really be active and to be sociable. And we've taken a lot of these things out of school as well. So it's like, inability to really communicate with each other. Yeah. So, but I think even going outside at home and creating that, but a lot of times, again, because of the violence, the gun violence and the things that's happening, bullets don't have names on it. And just recently, the 3-year-old child that was shot in the head and unfortunately passed away. And so what do? What safe places do you have? So how can parents come together to support each other? You know what I'm saying? How can they come together to prevent those type of things from happening? again, grassroots, organizing, coming together with those resources that we once talked about, those resources that we can make available, because again, the resources need to be coming in because, again, people may not know, but by the resources coming in, we begin to be made aware of certain processes that we can experience that will make the environment better, so that we can become better. Because when we know better, we do better. We do better. So as a result of becoming community activists, even, we're able to spearhead and stand up in the community to say, no, none of this over here. You know, I think what was that? The drug-free zone.
Yeah, the drug-free zone.
Do they have? You think we could be successful with a gun-free zone? Do they have that?
Not in the community. Not
in the community. They can have a gun-free zone. That's something that we could begin to, get down, sit together, and then write legislation and put it to our council, to take it to our council member, to take it to the council, and let them start voting on this. Because again, we want change, and it happens from where? From us at some point when we went grassroots organizing and putting that thing together. So we begin to do it. What do you think about the portrayal of guns in the media? Talk to me. I mean, I know y'all not gonna get quiet on me now, right? So, what do you guys think about guns and the portrayal of guns in the media?
The portrayal of guns in media, guns are mostly like glorified in like today's music. Mm-hmm. The videos that are played, that's seen on TV, even down to the movies that are shown on the local networks that we, subscribe to.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Jay?
To piggyback off that, glorifying guns in those movies and music, I would say it seems like it gives them power. Mm-hmm. Like, having that gun, I guess, like you said earlier, makes you feel strong, makes you feel more powerful, and so it's like it definitely influenced, the mind of the young people to quickly pick up a gun versus, I guess I would say, talking it out or, having a different outcome of whatever the problem or situation is.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's most important that we begin to identify what we watch, what we allow our children to even watch. And sometimes it's like, nah, it's okay, that's not hurting nobody. But that child begins to get that into their psyche, into their subconscious, and then the subconscious, it holds, and then it start playing back to the conscious mind even. So we got to be so careful as much as we allow even ourselves to watch certain programming. Again, it gets into the subconscious of who we are. That's the subconscious, the below. That's our heart below. That's the heart. So we start getting it in. It gets in, and so before we know it, as a man thinketh, so is he, because we allowed it in here. And so when this gets ticking, now it speaks to the conscious mind, and now we start playing out what the conscious mind is telling it. And so we got to be so careful. So sometimes we say, that's a nice beat. Starts with the beat, right? Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, you start picking up the words. The words. Now you saying, it caught you. That hook got you, right? So all of a sudden, yeah. Then I said, man, you know what that's saying? Man, that's all right, man. It ain't bothering nobody, man. I'm just singing a little song. You start rationalizing it, and now it's become, you done brought it into you, and you allowed it to become a part of you. So again, we got to protect these ear gates, man, because again, we got to protect them, because if not, we'll be consumed. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna get out of that right there because this y'all supposed to be rapping to me. Now, Brother Jay, I know that you've already answered. Have you witnessed a gun-related conflict? Yes, you have. So this one is for you, Mr. Green. Have you experienced gun-related conflict?
Yes. I have. I've seen.
Ladies and gentlemen, something's dropping back there. I don't know what it is. He looks at me like I did it, and I know I didn't do it. I'm sorry. Let's get serious. Go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
I've seen some shootings happen at parties that I've attended, or like at the let out of a club, at a function, and it's terrifying, because how like quickly it can escalate. Like even like you just like in the snap of a fingers, like you see people running, then you're trying to figure out if you got shot or if someone with you got shot or where the gun, like where the bullet's coming from. Because like you said earlier, a bullet don't have a name, so it's not, you don't know once it exits that chamber, you don't know its destination. Like you don't know, where it would go. So that's the fear of and what brings on anxiety and the peer pressure and stuff of that nature.
Wow, late night, booze, guns. It's not a good mix. No, I'm just saying it's just not. It's not a good mix, and that's one thing that I believe I heard a coach say one time that, hey, listen. Stay away from these things at late at night, fast car, fast women, and guns. Stay away from those things because those things will definitely land you in trouble. But in this case, we're talking about the gun violence, and so therefore you leaving clubs at night, you're fueled up, and so it doesn't take much to ignite that thing. So we have to be very, very careful. And besides, it is terrifying how quickly things can turn deadly over seemingly small disagreements. But when we do have the alcohol content and the gun violence, the guns, and so therefore it is something that can just escalate in a matter of moments. So we do want to be careful in that area. What do you think the youth and the community safety looks like? What do you think safety in the community with the youth? What does that look like?
Organizing awareness campaigns, community watches. Yes. That the young people that...
You remember the pumpkin heads?
No.
Oh my goodness. You remember the pumpkin heads? Hey. Ladies and gentlemen, check this out. If you remember the pumpkin heads, just give me a like button right quick. Just give me a couple of likes. If you remember the pumpkin heads who used to be out on the corner, and those used to be the older community, our mothers, grandmothers, our aunties, our grandfathers, fathers, uncles, they used to be the pumpkin heads, and they was identified by having orange hats on. And so with the orange hat, they got on the corners where people would normally have drugs going and all kind of things happening. But to keep the community safe, they would give each section of people corners, older people corners, and they would put the hats on and they would have a walkie-talkie, and so they would be able to call the police when they saw things happen in the community. I think they should be able to have those things come back. Yeah. The pumpkin heads. Because, don't laugh, guys. They used to call them pumpkin heads for real. Just like the guardian angels used to have the tams, the red tams?
The red tams.
And the white t-shirts, guardian angels. And so I applaud even them because they put themselves in the middle of violence to protect people. And so that's hands down. I think when you start again, that community center could house individuals to teach people how to properly protect themselves, like having karate classes and things like that, so that the need for guns it would be unnecessary.
Yeah.
It would be unnecessary, and so that would be unnecessary. Did you have something you wanted to share?
I would just say like more like resources like to come into the community, such as like I talked about earlier, like the life skills that we can take, like, and the breakout sessions, like like the peer mediation sessions and stuff like
conflict
that.
Resolution.
Conflict resolution.
And those that community setting, I mean that's community center setting, have the dialogues going on.
So it's a safe haven. So, where I feel like, we don't have that in our local communities.
How can we get that? Organize it,
get out and vote, and tap into like the resources that are available that can
absolutely
help us within the community,
absolutely,
that are out there. And
absolutely, anger management classes, conflict resolution. So therefore, we're able to have conversations, and so with that whole de-escalation, people need to learn how to listen. Because a lot of times people say that they are communicators when they really are not, because they're the one that's talking. But once they stop talking, they tapped out, waiting on the next time they can say what they feel. And then you ask them, what is it that I shared with you? They can't even tell you because they're trying to jump in with what they feel the next thing they want to tell you. So it's a learned behavior of really communicating, because it takes a communicator and it takes someone to listen. And so now if I'm listening, then I want to be able to reflectively get you back what you communicated. And so now we have the dialogue. Is this what you said? Is this what you meant? And so now we're exchanging. And so, and only one point, just stay at one point. Don't go all over the place, just one point at a time, and then complete it and put it to bed. Keep it moving. And people have to be taught that. And I think that's an excellent opportunity at the community center to teach our young people how to really communicate to one another. This last question, check this out. What does hope for the future look like for the both of you? Talk to me. What does hope look like for the future? Talk to me.
Hope for a future for me will look like safety and within a community, peace within the community, less violence within the community, coming together, togetherness. It's okay to be kind to one another. Okay. If I see you struggling, if I see an elderly struggling with the trash, it won't bother me to grab that bag from that elderly lady, or help them with their groceries, or us together, or we don't have that. My peer may be stronger in one subject in school, and I'm not as strong in that, but we don't come together to use our resources that we have. So if I know you're good at math, but I struggle in math, sometimes I may have a problem because I get clowned, or something like that. So I may not want to reveal that, or sometimes just being picked on to read something, and I may struggle with something, so I may not even tap into my potential, or even trying to understand what my potential is or what I have to offer, because I'm so scared to open my mouth because I might mess up on something.
Okay. So hope for you is being able to be vulnerable to build and connect resources, not being afraid to connect resources to become stronger.
Yes.
In the community. That's what hope look like for you. Thank you.
Yes. You're welcome.
Hope look like, you're so welcome, sir. Thank you. What does hope look like for you, sir?
I would say safety. But like he said, togetherness, to piggyback on him, safety.
That's been your word, right? Piggyback on him. That's what you've been saying all night, right? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But just to where the kids or us, not even just the kids, but for everybody to just be able to walk out their door and not have to fear of being shot, being robbed, something tragic happening to you or your child. Having your kids to be able to go out and play without being fearful that they're not going to come back home. That's right. Or you being fearful that you send your child out and they don't come back. So that's what I see hope for the future is being able to go out, step out your house, enjoy, your time in your community without having to every 5 seconds look over your shoulder. Or having that thought in the back of your head, am I going to make it back home, or is my child going to make it back home?
All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. And unfortunately, our time has come to an end. And I definitely thank you, gentlemen, for coming in and sharing what we have gleaned over the past few weeks and learned together. Thank you so much for being a part of my Brother's Keeper show.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. You're so welcome. As our time together ends, ladies and gentlemen, I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude for you joining us today. Remember, the journey to greatness is not a solo endeavor, but one shared with those who uplift and inspire us. Remember, surround yourself with people whose eyes light up when they see you. Remember that progress is often achieved through a steady perseverance. And lastly, the top of one mountain is the bottom of the next, so keep climbing. Tune in next week for another electrifying episode of My Brother's Keeper every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on WBGR TV. I'm Pastor Mike Green, and thank you so much. Good night.
Good night.
That's a wrap. Shoo. Shoo. What?